Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cromulent Craic Show. I'm Dillhouse.
And I'm Duffy Beer, and we're just a couple of embiggen Egypts who are here to chat about every Simpson episode from the very beginning.
So grab a Duff Beer, a crab juice, or a frosty chocolate milkshake, and let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
So Duffy Beer, today we're looking back on the 7th episode of The Simpsons.
The Call of The Simpsons.
The Simpsons are in the wild for this one.
Yeah, so this episode, Call of The Simpsons, it was written by John Swartzwelder and directed by Wes Archer and aired in America all the way back on February 18th, 1990.
And this one is one that received a nomination, isn't it, Duffy Beer?
Yeah.
For Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series and Animation.
It's a bit of a mouthful, that award.
This was at the 42nd Primetime Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
It was nominated, but it didn't go on to win it, did it, Duffy Beer?
No, it lost. It lost to Cheers. So they weren't cheering.
No.
It was, yeah, so this award, the 42nd Primetime Emmy Awards, they were held in September, so obviously later on. And this was kind of one of the first episodes to get nominated. Now, the Christmas episode had been nominated for like an Emmy. It didn't win either, but the Life on the Fast Lane, which we'll be getting to soon, that actually won an award. So this is we're kind of getting the Simpsons getting a bit of a push now in the
It's becoming a bit
in the
respected
limelight,
and
yeah.
a bit kind of prestigious.
And at this point, so when the Emmy Awards was on in September, so the Simpsons actually were presenting the award. So it was obviously an animated segment, and the Simpsons, they're all dressed up and going up to the stage, and they're presenting the award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, and it was Ted Danson from Cheers.
Awkward.
He won. That's so awkward. It's like they're like, So I don't know if they'd, had they lost this award yet at this stage?
Did they know?
Did they know? But the segment's it's a bit cringy, to be honest. Now it's very early Simpson humor.
Kind of Butterworth style animation.
Butterworth style, yeah.
Enchanted Evening.
It's like the animation is way too fluid, and it's really bouncy. Like they're moving in. It seems nearly like in slow motion. They're such exaggerated kind of gestures on their faces. Like their lips are moving out. And
it's like overly animated.
The hair is bouncing. Like Lisa and Bart's hair is like, they've got these golden locks of hair by the looks of it.
Yeah.
It's well animated, but just looks really uncanny. And I don't know. And the humor is really naff as well, because it's like Marge is going and she's like, where's Maggie? Where's Maggie? And it's like Homer's like, you're holding her. Oh, sorry, I'm just so nervous. Oh. And Bart's acting like a 4-year-old. He's there and he's like, can I read the award, Mom? Please, give me. And she's like, okay, Bart. And then he's like so excited, he rips it up. And
you're just like, just end it, please.
Yeah.
It goes on for way too long.
And then Lisa's like calling out. She's like, oh, Academy, everybody should be a winner. If you agree, stand up and applaud now. And it's like the crowd, it cuts to the crowd, and I think the crowd, I don't know what they're seeing. I assume it's just like blank space on stage, and they can hear this like all this voiceover stuff going on, and it's just like, oh, I don't know. I suppose it's very impressive for the time. This was 1990, but yeah,
it's like because you'd be watching that and you're assuming this is like a live event, and you're like, how did they do this?
Oh my gosh, this is like Roger Rabbit come to life.
Roger Rabbit live.
And so it's cool, but it hadn't won. So this episode, kind of out of all the episodes, really, it's a very strange episode to get nominated, because this is one I don't know if a lot of people will remember really. It's a nice episode. But it's a lot of like kind of the award-winning episodes or award sort of nominated episodes are always kind of like the more emotional episodes. Yeah.
Where they kind of, I remember this one finally. I think maybe it's because it was like one of the first ones I'd ever seen. I think.
Oh really? Yeah.
We had videos of the season 1 episodes, and
yeah.
I don't know. This one always just stuck with me, but I was probably like 4th time or 3.
Very nostalgic then, yeah.
But not because of the quality of it, which is fine. Like, we get into that in the ranking later, but
yeah. Yeah.
There's another thing that this was the first one to have the Duffy Beer. This was the first one to have Burger King toys.
Yeah, so I think this is the first time now, again, The Simpsons were kind of like getting commercially kind of popular as well. So, Burger King toys, and they're just kind of like, they're all dressed in little camping outfits, and
I suppose that's where it's a good episode to have the Burger King toys, is because in season one they're just kind of in their standard outfits, maybe dressed up for the opera or something. But in
yeah,
this one they're like in interesting kind of like camping gear, and they've got backpacks and props and stuff.
yeah, except for Maggie. Maggie's just normal Maggie, but she's on a turtle. It's like, but everyone else is kind of like Homer. Homer looks really unlike Homer. Like he's holding up a sock, and he's not wearing his typical like shirt or anything. It's just, and Bart's wearing green t-shirt. It's not even blue like his go-to blue outfit.
It's his camping t-shirt.
It's camping t-shirt. Where's his lucky red hat?
Oh yeah. From the last episode.
Yeah, and then Marge has like birds in her hair, and Lisa's saxophone has like a rabbit in it. They're very cute. They're cute toys.
The rabbit's very cool.
The rabbit's the best. He's my favorite character. And I kind of wish I never collected any Simpson toys. Really, I got like one Simpson toy in Burger King. We never went to Burger King when I was a kid, you see, so I missed out on all these toys. And I remember just randomly getting it was like a Homer in a train, and he's got like, it's made of donuts.
It's got donut wheels.
Oh, I love it, and I still have it. It's my prized possession. I could sell it on eBay, because eBay, like, or Etsy and all these things, you can buy Simpson toys, and they're all like €100. I'm like, oh.
You're so tempted, aren't you, Duffy Beer?
It's like I can finally pay for a mortgage.
They trick you in though. They're like, oh, here's these old school Simpsons toys. They're only a tenner, and then the delivery and shipping is like €100.
€100, and then you're immediately like, what? Is this getting like hand delivered by
Matt Groening?
Matt Groening himself comes, here's your toy. Yeah, but yeah, there's not really. So we've already talked about John Swartzwelder, and we already talked about Wes Archer. So usually we do like mentioning kind of the main kind of contributors of this episode, but we kind of touched upon them, so they're cool. But
they're still at the helm.
Yeah, John, I like when I see John Swartzwelder, because he's my favorite writer, and I find there's a lot of John Swartzwelder jokes kind of creeping in now, because he did Bart the General, and I don't find Bart the General very John Swartzwelder was a Swartzweldering episode, but I think the jokes are really creeping into this one, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Alright then, let's get stuck into the context of it.
Let's get stuck in.
Oakley dokley.
So, the Call of The Simpsons aired in America all the way back on February 18th, 1990. Let's have a look at what was happening in the world when the episode aired and what the cultural context of the time was. It's time for the Reeling in the Years
and the Duff Beers. So the Brit Awards took place on the 18th of February. So the Brit Awards, it's a bit like the Grammy Awards for British music. So yeah, just all the Brit pop stars.
So all the British music of the time, yeah.
Yeah, and this year it was Fine Young Cannibals. They won 2 Brit Awards, but they soon returned them in protest after there was a video message from Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Cue lightning strikes.
Yeah, big lightning in the background, and she came on the screen. That's it.
She appeared at the ceremony, not like properly like there. She just was like on the big screen, I think, or it cut away to her after I think she was trying to start her music career around this time, because she decided to sing her favorite song ever, which was How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Oh God help anybody who had to listen to that. Margaret Thatcher singing How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Haven't you done enough, Margaret Thatcher? There's blood on your hands. But yeah, so
how did the Fine Young Cannibals feel with being associated with Margaret Thatcher singing How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Well, I think they gave back the awards because they didn't want to be part of Conservative Party broadcast. But I think in hindsight, it was actually because of that. They were like, oh, you bloody terrible taste in music.
Those are Fine Young Cannibals. They know what they're doing.
fine good morals.
Fine, good cannibals.
I love the way like the lads, because I don't think it's live. It kind of cut away to them receiving it, and it was just sort of like a thing of like they were given the award, like, oh, look at this, yeah, and they just chuck it, and I think they light it on fire. They have their lighter or something. There's like, yeah, they just so totally nonchalant about it, really. But
Brit Awards, are the Brit Awards live or?
that's what I don't know. Is it kind of like, I think there's a ceremony, and they just have like the segments though. I think that the people that win them, I don't know. It's a bit like one of these things.
Part live, part not live.
Yeah. What's the show at New Year's?
The Hootenanny.
The Hootenanny. Is that live? Is the Brit Awards live? What is I'm a Celebrity live?
What is real?
Is Big Brother live? Dick
It's
and
all
Dom
just-
in the bungalow. I
It's
don't
all
know.
just actors. It's none of them are real.
Yeah, so that was just like the Brit Awards, really. But it actually, so like that year was kind of, controversial. I think there was one year, I think it was the previous year, 1989, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. I think there was like a lot of like issues with sound, and I think it was like it was known for being like a really bad year for television, and also it was kind of like a bit controversial because obviously Margaret Thatcher wasn't a very popular prime minister, and during that award season there was Andy Bell from Erasure, so the band Erasure, give me no respect, and he kissed it was Boy George.
Is the presenter?
He was presenting, yeah. So they were accepting an award. I think they were best like band of the year, musicians of the year, and they kind of kissed on stage, and which got cheers from the crowd. But it was actually in protest against Section 28. So that was introduced, by Margaret Thatcher's Conservative government. So they prohibited like the promotion of homosexuality in schools, kind of like the Don't Say Gay kind of making its comeback. Unfortunately, it seems.
Thatcher policies that were like.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's very modern actually now.
Well, Florida was trying to do it. Yeah, kind of.
People are like, that stuff from the 80s that like wasn't good.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back.
Do you know everything that wasn't good, like in every single decade?
All those
like the
crap policies. Let's bring all those back.
Yeah, we thought they were pretty okay. So yeah, Margaret Thatcher. So Margaret Thatcher was a bad person who had bad taste in music. That's just all I want to give.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
fair play to Andy Bell, like fair play to Boy George, fair play to the Fine Young Cannibals. Because nowadays it'd be just sort of like, yeah. I don't know. I think it was kind of punk of the time. But it kind of like the Brit Awards, so it kind of was then political, like around then, like the late 80s. And then it kind of, I don't think there was really much from the Brit Awards after, but then it kind of got political again. There was like back in the late 90s then, I think. Do you remember Tud Tumping, the I Get Knocked Down?
I'm gonna get up again.
The band Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, they were proper, I think they like identified as being proper anarchists, and
Class.
yeah. And all their like album covers, like they had all things and you're like, oh look, it's a cute little puppy on the cover, and then you pull it out and it's like two dogs humping. Or like it literally showed, I think one of their album covers is like literally someone giving birth. Like they were proper, like they didn't want to be famous kind of thing, but
they were going for shock
value, kind of hooligan aesthetic.
The type of things that would upset like Margaret Thatcher and her.
Margaret Thatcher would be like, ooh. But they were at the Brit Awards, and it was John Prescott, so he was another like conservative or whatever, and he was there going on stage, and I don't know, he was presenting an award or he was speaking, I don't know. And it kind of was like to be like, how do you do, fellow Brits?
Us Tories are cool too.
We're cool, we care. And
we're hip.
They went, so it backfired because Chumbawamba came along and like dunked them with a bucket of water. And it's like, you feel sorry for them, but not
Years
really.
before the ice bucket challenge.
Years before. They would never give anything to ALS. They wouldn't care. So so fair play to everybody but Margaret Thatcher. And then it's actually sad. So this is at the same British Awards, but Queen, they appeared at the ceremony to receive the Outstanding Contribution to Music, and it was the last public appearance of Queen frontman Freddie Mercury. So Freddie Mercury, he had been suffering from AIDS since 1987, but none of that was disclosed to the public at this stage. And he being the frontman, you would expect to make kind of the speech, but it was actually Brian May who did most of the talking on behalf of the other members. But poor Freddie Mercury's very gaunt.
So people didn't know that Freddie was ill at this time.
No, I don't think it was kind of disclosed at this stage. But so poor Freddie Mercury. And then just at this Brit Awards then, Phil Collins won Best Single with Another Day in Paradise. So that was kind of big number one in America, I think, at the time, like kind of around 1989. It was people love Phil.
Fire at the time.
On fire, just before the Tarzan soundtrack even.
Yeah, he was just about to go into his peak.
Yeah, and just before
he was I used to always like tease my dad when my dad was coming of a certain age that like he'd get into Phil Collins because he's from like that middle-aged man kind of like music.
I just always remember I found Phil Collins through the Cadbury's ad with the gorilla playing the drums. Which is the best ad.
The best ad ever.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to.
Genesis were a great band, a great prog rock band.
Yeah, no, I didn't on Phil Collins, and he did right. Never mind the Tarzan soundtrack, that's good and all. Brother Bear.
It's always forgotten about Duff Beer. You love Brother
classic. Bear. I love Brother Bear, and I love Phil Collins because of Brother Bear.
And then his daughter is producing like the best TV of all time, probably with Emily in Paris.
Emily in Paris, which I'm sure is a good show.
Great. We should change this to the Cromulent Emily in Paris show.
Emily in Paris, the Cromulent Emily in Paris. Yeah. Le Cromulent.
Le Cromulent.
I don't know. I haven't seen Emily in Paris. I don't think I ever will. I don't think my love for Phil Collins' Brother Bear will make me, but I don't know. But meanwhile, so Phil Collins won for Another Day in Paradise, and not like, listen, I like Brother Bear and all, but I don't think his song was the best one that year. I like it, but I think I would have preferred there was Soul Back to Life.
Oh, definitely.
I think that
this is right up my alley.
Yeah, I think that's the better song, to be honest. Back to life.
Back to reality.
Okay, so I take it back. Soul Back to Life, only second best, because that year
our old buddies are back.
Our buddies are back. Jive Bunny and the Master Mixers. Yeah.
Oh, you thought that they were only here for Christmas?
Oh no, boy! It's Christmas every day with Jive Bunny. Let's party. That's what I like. Swing the moon. Oh, they had loads of songs.
Give them
all the awards. And Margaret Thatcher's up there singing and dancing with them, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know. What a year! What an award ceremony. Yeah. Where's Chumbawamba? If they came back, if they should have been like there 10 years before, would have been the best show ever. But that was it. And well, let's not forget The Cure. They actually won Best Music Video as well at this award.
Robert Smith, thank you very much for this award.
Oh, Robert Smith's the best.
He's a legend.
He is a legend. Actually, fun fact: Phil Collins and Robert Smith were guests on South Park. I don't know if it was the real. I'd like to know, is it the real Phil Collins that was on it? Because it was definitely the real Robert Smith who beat Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
Is there
I think Robert Smith was like the most. He has to be like the most respected South Park appearance that like wasn't taunted at all. They were just like, oh my god, Robert Smith.
Robert Smith. Yeah, I love Robert Smith. He so that what a year, what an award ceremony.
So what else was happening around that time then, Duffy Beer?
So in other news, this kind of sad news, but more political news. So Richard de Souza, a well-known Sri Lankan journalist and human rights activist, was abducted and murdered on 18th of February 1990. He was only 31 years old. His murder caused widespread outrage inside the country and is widely believed to have been carried out by a death squad linked to the government. So, very
The Sri
unfortunate.
Lankan government up to no good, maybe.
Yeah, I think with the Sri Lankan Civil War, there was just a lot of just political upheaval around that time. And actually, like the main character of Sheehan Karu Natilaka's novel, so hopefully I got that pronunciation okay enough. So his novel, The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida, it was the winner of the 2022 Booker Prize, but it was actually kind of inspired apparently by Richard de Souza. And
That whole kind of story of the journalist kind of being
yeah,
murdered.
just kind of, I think, based, not like based on him, but just inspired by him and the events of around that time. I haven't read the book. Hopefully we'll get around to it. I have a million books to read. I need to start with all the Booker. I think I've read like one Booker Prize winner, really. And then so meanwhile then it was the 1990 Nepalese Revolution, or the People's Movement. They officially started on the 18th of February 1990, and that brought an end to absolute monarchy. So it was quite a noteworthy day in South Asian history.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on. It's crazy. Like, the biggest event, say on our side of water over here, would have been like, the Brit Awards, and nothing really.
All these awards and culture awards and stuff.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, it just shows, kind of world history is so varied. Yeah.
Bad things happening around the world at all times.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was it. And then just kind of meanwhile again, just with kind of more pop culture, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was #1 at the UK box office. And Driving Miss Daisy was #1 again at the US box office.
To just keep going around that corner getting #1 every week.
I think because, Miss Daisy won't turn a certain way. She keeps going around.
That's it. Yeah, we watched the movie and she's like, oh no, I need to go the same way to the place every week. So they keep going to #1 every week.
Yeah, it's just going around and around, same old. But yeah, Driving Miss Daisy. And so meanwhile in the charts, Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor was the Irish and UK #1 song again. And kind of, I think Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You, that's going to be kind of the big song in Ireland for the next couple of weeks. But meanwhile, American music is so different. Like, a lot of songs in America never really made it over here, so I never really include them. But Opposites Attract by Paula Abdul was #1 in America this week. And just a bit of change of scenery. Yeah, and she did that song with Dancing Cat, MC Scat Cat.
That should be #1.
That should be #1. Opposites Attract. Yeah, and then that's basically it. So 18th of February, what a day in 1990. So I think that's pretty much.
Let's jump into the plot of the episode.
Jump into the plot.
Ay, caramba!
Alright, so the chalkboard gag in this episode is I will not draw naked ladies in class.
Barsh.
He's a bit young for that, is he not?
He's a bit young.
When did you start drawing naked ladies, Duffy Beer?
I was a bit older. Yeah, I wasn't a 10-year-old. Yeah, and and the couch gag is just, it's right, the family comes in and they just sit on the couch in a normal manner and nothing happens. And I think it's a bit too early in the season to subvert the whole kind of like couch.
Yeah, what is it, like 6 episodes?
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, we got you. Yeah, because they've been so exciting so far, where Bart comes in and falls off.
Well, sometimes in season 1 they don't even have an intro.
No, so we take what we can get. Yeah, so the episode then starts with Homer and Bart are outside doing yard work, and Bart is on an old-fashioned...
Push more, kind of.
Yeah, well, he's using, an old-fashioned lawnmower, kind of, yeah, the little mechanic kind of ones.
Spinny kind of.
The spinny ones, and you're just breaking your back trying to push it. And Rod or Todd, I'm not sure which one, drives by. So Rod and Todd Flanders, they ride by on like a lawnmower, this really fancy one.
A big like driving lawnmower kind of.
Yeah, and kind of I think it's funny because this kind of pops up in the Deep Deep Trouble music video as well. Bart's literally like trying to cut the grass, and one of them drives by, and they're like, hey,
Laughing at him.
laughing at him, like, oh, look at the
It's not very Christian.
little surf in the. Yeah, and then Ned Flanders pulls up in his brand new RV, the Land Behemoth, and shows it off to Homer and Bart. And it's like, yeah, so it's just sort of like Flanders is really into conspicuous consumption in the early seasons. He's not a very frugal Christian.
Yeah, he's like throwing his money at
like,
all this like latest tech and trends and stuff like that. And
Yeah, like he's got his new RV here in the Christmas episode. He was buying all fancy gifts, and and then later on, like in a few episodes later, we'll see him and he buys the fancy sneakers,
Oh,
the
yeah.
ones that poor Homer tries to get.
Yeah, Homer's jealous of him.
Yeah, but really, like Flanders is really in the sort of Kirk Cameron style of Christian consumerism. It's like,
Big massive house and big massive car and big
to be
massive...
Christian is to be into materialism. That's what Jesus wanted. That's why, Christmas
Who's to
exists.
say Jesus didn't have a ride-on mower or a big RV?
Yeah, he was like looking at all his apostles and they had donkeys. And he was like, guys. And he's like, look at my fancy cross. It's got a cup holder on it. And yeah, so Homer's jealous of Ned Flanders and his new like RV. So Homer, of course, out of jealousy, he goes and visits this place called Bob's RV Roundup to buy like an RV. And we have literally a sleazy cowboy salesman.
Yeah, so you've got like cowboy builders here in Ireland that take advantage of their contracts, and this guy's
Yeah.
literally a cowboy
This guy
salesman.
Bob is literally, he's got his big, so this eponymous Bob, he is literally like, has a big cowboy hat, big to cover his big giant ears.
This
Just-
is Albert Brooks' first appearance in the show.
Yeah, so Bob is voiced by Albert Brooks. So, Brooks has appeared as a guest voice actor on The Simpsons a couple of times during its run. It's always under A. Brooks. A. Brooks.
E. Brooks?
So he played Hank Scorpio. I think Hank Scorpio is the most famous kind of Simpson character. I think everyone's always like, it's either Hank Grimes or Hank Scorpio. Sorry, Frank Grimes,
Grimes or
and
Hank
Hank
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
As in terms of like a one-off guest character.
But Frank Grimes was voiced by Hank Azaria, so it's confusing. But I think they're always like ranked as the best sort of one-off Simpson kind of characters. Yeah.
And Brooks was actually born Albert Einstein,
Yes.
not Albert Brooks.
So Albert Brooks ain't his name. A. Brooks isn't his name. It's Albert Einstein. So he's kind of a nepo baby. So he was born into a show business family. His mom was an actress, and his dad was like a very famous like American comedian. So Albert, we'll just call him Albert Brooks since he went. I think he kind of dropped the Albert Einstein.
It's a big name to live up to.
Yeah, like Mr. Star of Oppenheimer, Albert
Yeah.
Einstein. So yeah, probably if you want to go out, it's like, my name is Albert Einstein. My name is Leonardo da Vinci. You're not gonna get.
Yeah.
So yeah, he dropped, I think, the Einstein bit kind of when he was like in high school, I think. So he's known, Albert Brooks is mostly known for, he's in a couple of movies. He was Oscar nominated for his role in Broadcast News. I think that's when he kind of became very famous. And he worked with actually James Brooks on Broadcast News. He directed it, but he's no relation.
Albert Brooks, James Brooks,
Yeah.
no relation.
No
there.
nepotism there. But yeah, Broadcast News, we watched it. It's okay.
It's grand.
It's
He's
fine.
good in it, but he's...
He is good. He's kind of sleazy in it. I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Or how do you like that? He's
Yeah, it's like,
it's kind of one of those movies you have in the background. You kind of forget you watch it then.
yeah,
Yeah,
very forgettable.
but he's good. Everyone's he's
Everyone's
good.
fine.
Everyone's
good,
fine. I like him more. He's in Drive.
Yeah, he's brilliant in Drive.
Very good in Drive. He's so, he's such a sinister character in Drive, and I think
It's
because
very
he's
different from...
very
this.
different, because I think he was always in comedic roles, and then he was in, I know him very much from Finding Nemo. So I
Yeah.
think that's how I came across, say, Albert Brooks, because he voiced Marlin.
Marvin.
Marvin or Marlin? the dad in Finding Nemo anyway, and Taxi Driver. So Taxi Driver, he's a very small part in Taxi Driver, but he's still quite memorable in it. And I think he actually like improvised much of his dialogue in that. Um, but again, he's kind of like he's very good at improvising his dialogue, very good at ad-libbing. He did that a lot when he was playing Hank Scorpio, and he later comes up very soon as Jacques, the French fella. Jacques. Ugh. And yeah, and he kind of knew James Brooks, and he kind of knew actually Harry Shearer because he co-wrote a film, Real Life, with Harry Shearer in the 1970s. And he's very good just on, him and Dan Castellaneta are very good, even ad-libbing. He's very just natural kind of actor.
Fits in with The Simpsons really
Fits
well.
in really well. And so he plays Bob the RV salesman in this, and so Homer comes along and he wants to buy the thing, and during the tour Homer and the kids are expressing their awe at this big giant. It's called like the ultimate behemoth. And it literally, like, there's a really cool thing. I think it like literally casts a shadow over the animation kind of thing. Is cool.
To make it look so massive.
Yeah, it's like you never really see shadowing in Simpsons. So Homer's like really taken in by this. He's like, oh yeah, and the kids are like, oh, this is cool. And Marge is obviously worrying about the cost. Marge is kind of like, me, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And you feel sorry for Homer because Homer's literally like a little kid. And he's like, oh wow. So he goes ahead. He wants to buy the RV. Bob's basically sweet talking him the whole time, and he takes him in the office to run a credit check. And poor Homer, it's like a siren alerts them, and when Homer's there, he's like, oh, does that mean, is that a good siren? Am I approved? And then Bob's like, have you ever known a siren to be good? No, Mr. Simpson, it's not. It's a bad siren.
It's a bad siren.
It's a bad siren, Mr. Simpson.
There's a funny bit where he says it's a wee bit out of his price range, which I think we thought was like a wee bit. That's a very Irishy kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like, I know myself, I say wee, like everything's wee, even if it's not small.
I'll just have a wee one.
I'll just have a wee cup of tea, or I'll just move my wee car. Yeah, so poor Homer's being rejected due to his poor credit rating. And in desperation, he begs Bob to show him like an RV that is now his price range, because he doesn't want to leave empty-handed and be like a big loser in front of Flanders.
Yeah.
So Bob shows Homer this very rundown, beaten up small RV, and he kind of pressures him into buying it. So the rest of the family's like, ugh, and Homer just ignores this disapproval of the rest of the family.
That'll kind of making him think he's got a great deal.
He's like, oh, it was a bargain, and I think he has to pay something like $300 like a month or so.
Yeah, it's pure rip-off.
It's pure rip-off. So later, after he decides like immediately to use this RV, like, so they get home and he's loading up this brand new quote unquote brand new RV, and Homer is gloating to Flanders about his purchase, and he's taking the family out to go camping, and Flanders is just like really like, oh, that's great, Simpson.
Yeah, Flanders is like the perfect neighbor.
It's just nice about it. He's like, oh, that's really nice.
Homer's like, you're jealous.
You're jealous. And it's just like, so on the way. So yeah, now immediately the episode turns into camping episode. And on the way, Homer, they're driving and he comes off the motorway somehow. And Marge suspects something's wrong and she's advising Homer to like stop or read directions. And he's ignoring Marge. He just puts down Marge all the time. He's like, I don't care.
Well, what's that? I've got a wife.
Yeah, I got a wife. It's like,
dog.
she's like, Homer, please don't spend our money on this RV. Shut up, Marge. Homer, please, you're driving on the wrong road. He's like, shut up, Marge. So yeah, and he's saying his RV is like all terrain and it's able to basically drive on anything, and he's there driving through, he's plowing through a forest then, completely like just in the middle of nowhere.
Destroying nature.
Yeah, and he's singing the Happy Wanderer. He's humming this song as he's like going crashing into things. It's like the one do 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 do. So Yeah, the just a funny little thing, the Happy Wanderer. So it's often mistaken for like a German folk song, but it's like an original composition from well into the 20th century. The guy that reportedly composed it, so Frederick Wilhelm Moeller, he composed kind of a thing called Mein Vater. Oh, geez.
War ein Wandersmann.
Well done. Shortly after World War II. So this guy Frederick anyway, he composed it, and so it was well, like I think it was well into the late 40s, early 50s when he did it. But funny enough, in Steven Spielberg's movie Schindler's List, so that's obviously set during the war itself. Um, there's a scene that actually contains this song in which like a group is singing the tune, and this is during the war, so it's a bit of an anachronism there.
So they were singing a song that hadn't been
Written
written
yet.
yet.
Whoa, those time traveling Nazis, we gotta be scared of them. And so basically, yeah, so Homer's singing this song, he's like do do do, and he suddenly then just decides to randomly stop in the middle of nowhere, and he's come to a screeching halt, and he's teetering on the edge of a cliff then. And Homer's like, right, on a count of three, we all jump out. One, and then it's like the family's like, whoop. And Homer is kind of left, and he escapes anyway. And the whole RV then plummets off the cliff and explodes.
So I assume he still has to pay the credit then for
Yeah,
that
I'm
RV.
assuming he's not, like, I don't know what way the insurance
Except
works
he
for
hasn't
this.
got an RV now.
No. And it's like, right, so yeah, they're stranded in the wilderness, no food, no supplies. And Homer doesn't seem upset about the amount of money he just wasted. It's like
Bob definitely wouldn't give you good insurance.
Bob
for that.
definitely. I think Bob has taken Homer's credit card details anyway, and he's gone off to Mexico with
He's
it.
gone to town on it.
Yeah, and basically the episode ends with like, oh, the Simpsons are in the wild. So yeah, they're there, and everyone is scared and frightened. I think Maggie's even crying. And Homer's telling everyone to relax because he's an experienced woodsman, apparently. Homer the lumberjack,
Yeah.
man of the wild.
And he walks off then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Says
just
to
goes,
himself, I've murdered us all.
yeah, he goes off to like a little quiet area, and then he's like, oh, he just suddenly breaks down crying. It's like, oh, I've murdered us all. And then it echoes across, and it's like, murdered us all.
And the whole
murdered us
family
all."
hears it.
Yeah. So then Homer's then like, no, right, we'll survive this. So immediately he's in like survival mode, and he's trying to like make a little sort of makeshift shelter for Marge and the family. And it's just twigs. It's like just like, a tiny little birdhouse kind of style thing.
Hey, he's an experienced woodman.
He is an experience. We're underestimating him, and he takes Bart along with him. I think just to find like food, supplies, help, anything. And Marge and Lisa are watching as Maggie follows behind Homer and Bart, and Marge is like, "Oh, just let her go. Who cares?
It's only a baby.
It's only a baby. Babies always are fine in wilderness. Babies have great survival. They always have like, they're born with like a little, switchblade and
yeah, they know what to do.
Bear Grylls babies." And so Homer and Bart aren't aware that Maggie's behind them. And then, yeah, I find this stupid though, of like Marge being so clueless and trusting. Because one minute she was being more assertive about her concerns, like when it was in relation to the RV and even the directions. And then suddenly she's like buying Homer, oh no, he's an experienced woodsman. Maggie will be fine.
It's kind of that season 1 syndrome thing where like the characters still don't really know who they are.
Yeah, like Marge is going from being kind of, very just ditzy and she's too dumb in this.
She's closer to the Marge we know and love, I think, at the start of the episode.
Yeah. And like, even remember like how we saw in the last episode moaning Lisa, like Marge is more herself in that episode. Yeah. So I don't know, we're kind of getting a bit of whiplash from that. But yeah, so Marge and Lisa watch Maggie go off behind Homer and Bart, and Homer and Bart aren't aware that Maggie's behind them. So then when Homer and Bart hear Maggie sucking on her pacifier, which is like really noticeable I know Matt Groening hates Maggie's pacifier in like the first season, I think, because I know in every commentary he's like, oh, the pacifier. Because even when people are talking, you can hear a pacifier in the background. So I think they toned it down then in later episodes. But she's sucking on her little pacifier and they think it's a rattlesnake. And they take off running, scared, leaving Maggie.
It's like, run, you fool.
Run, you fool. Yeah. I love the lines. Homer has great lines in this episode.
Yeah. It's proper Homer lines.
Proper Homer's like, I've murdered us all. And then run, you fool. It's already really quotable. And so Maggie's left behind. That's it. Maggie's dead. She's goner.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Social services, get onto this family. So a bear approaches her. And again, that's the end of Maggie. Maggie's dead. That's why you don't see her in any further episodes. That's why we don't hear her pacifier, because she's dead.
Canonically the last episode.
Yeah, it was nice. She just wasn't working. The audience, you know,
Matt
when
Groening,
they did test
that pacifier
screenings.
really got to Matt Groening.
Yeah. Cut the baby out altogether. So then, so a bear approaches Maggie and is just like on, you know, big brown bear stand and he's roaring at her. And Maggie is unafraid. And she sticks her little, she has an extra pacifier. She's more well supplied than the rest of the family.
Yeah.
She's like, right, I'm
She's
going
them in
away.
her pocket.
Yeah, she's got her little baby backpack kind of thing. No, but she pulls out just a random, I don't know where she's keeping that pacifier. I don't want to know. Although babies do have pockets in a lot of their clothes.
Yeah.
Grown women don't have pockets on, you know. This is an issue I have with. But so she pulls out a pacifier and puts it into the bear's mouth, which calms the bear down. So I think we should try that.
Pacifier for a brown bear.
Brown bear. Isn't it one bear that you're meant to be like really, you're meant to like kind of scare it off.
And one of them you go down, make yourself small, is it?
Small, and is there one that you climb up a tree?
Is there? Yeah.
I don't know.
I think a polar bear is just your
A panda bear.
Panda bear.
My teddy bear.
He's like,
I just run
on
away from it. Yeah, but so she's carried back by the bear back to the cave where she's accepted as one of the group by the three other bears. They're like Goldilocks.
Maggie's got a new family.
She's got, you know, who would look after her. You know,
and not lose her.
Not lose her, not leave her alone. I don't know. This is who is the real beast and who is the real man.
They even go out then to get food, don't they? They go and find a family of campers to take stuff.
And they're stealing all their stuff. There's like a really passive aggressive family that they come across.
Fight, yeah.
There's like a couple. And why would people bring babies to forests? I just don't get.
Yeah, if you're not prepared for the kind of.
Yeah, but there's like a really passive aggressive family and they're having a fight, this woman and man, and meanwhile the bears just take all their stuff and there's like a baby they have and they take the bottle off the baby. Not straight from the baby, but and they bring them all back to Maggie. So Maggie she's got her swag. Swaggy. So then Homer and Bart, they have run off screaming like little girls and they lose. So they end up like plunging over a waterfall, and falling into a raging river.
Get carried away, kind of.
Yeah, and then so Homer thinks Bart's dead. He's like, oh. And then next thing, Homer finds Bart. They're both naked. They've both lost their clothes in the river, which must be a thing. Must be a very strong river. These things happen. So yeah, after Homer's relieved to see Bart alive, and they both realise that they've lost their clothes and they're now in the nip.
They're giggling.
And they're giggling. They're like, oh, tiny manhoods.
They have to wear leaves to cover up their.
Yeah, so they have to wear leaves to cover up their bits and bobs. So that's it. And then they have to go look for food. So Bart asks Homer if so Homer has like a stick and Bart's like, you know what we're going to do with this? And Bart's like, hang ourselves. And he's like, no, it's like, because it's like a noose, like animal trap. So he's like, no, this is going to how you catch prey, boy. So Homer attempts at catching rabbits for food. There's like a little rabbit that's like snacking on, like they have their trap there, and this little rabbit snacking away.
I love the way Matt Groening draws the wee rabbits.
They're very cute. They're still kind of like the little human. Apparently he hates like if you try and have like a
humanoid kind of.
Or no, he hates if you try and do like different animal eyes or something. I remember that in some commentary. He really hates it if you give them like cutesy eyes. I think it was on a
Oh.
horse or something, and he hated it, and he was like, no, give them like proper, like just the.
Such an unhappy man. Commentaries.
He's never happy. I'd hate to be like, I'd be like, he's like the Miyazaki of animation.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a disgrace. So I just love this bit of like the rabbit snacking away on this trap anyway, and
Yum, yum.
he's catapulted. It's like, whoosh, and it's just a slow little fall.
No.
He's just falling in the distance, and then there's a hard thud, and it's such a good visual joke. I love it so much. And it feels really like kind of like classic Simpsons of this dark, it's dark but wacky at the same time. And I just love it. It's just for poor rabbit. So then Homer's then like, oh, screw this. So then he's trying to look in the bushes, and then he's attacked by various animals. And I like to think there's like a little raccoon, and there's a squirrel, and there's a rabbit, and I like to think that's the rabbit.
He came back really
He came
quickly.
back really quickly for revenge.
Because they're all like, nah, nah, nah.
Nah, nah, nah. And he's like, whoa! So meanwhile, all that's happening, Marge and Lisa are just getting on just fine. They're tidying up their little camp, and they've built a much better like little shelter for
They
themselves.
don't need no man.
They don't need no man. Like, I tell you. But anyway, Marge is tidying around, and she has like little squirrels and lined up, and she's like, she's rearranging her little squirrel collections. And at nighttime, they make themselves a fire, and they're getting ready for bed. And Maggie, meanwhile, she's sleeping warmly with her new bear family.
Maggie's happy. Maggie's way happier with these bears.
Like when Maggie's in therapy when she's older, and she'll be like, I was happy. I remember this brief moment in my childhood. And meanwhile, cold and hungry and exhausted Homer and Bart, they're shivering without a fire and trying to go to sleep. So, yeah, Mr. Woodsman.
The expert woodsman.
Yeah. So the next morning, Homer and Bart look for food, and they come across a beehive. And when Homer is stealing some honey, the bees attack him, and that would probably kill someone.
Have you ever been stung by? I got stung on my thumb before, and it went really fat.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it got
Fat toe.
really swollen.
You still have it every time you give a thumbs up.
Like Lenny.
It's like, yeah, do you know the big kind of like the football, the big gloves they have at football games or baseball games? You have the thumb equivalent. It's like, oh, I got stung in my boob like a few years ago, and the poor bee, I don't know why the bee, because bees usually attack when they're scared or threatened, and I was like lying down, minding my own business. I won't go into detail,
It was
but
a creepy bee.
it was a creepy bee. He got onto my my area, and next thing I was like, ow, ow, and it feels kind of like, it feels like it's on fire. You're kind of like, what's this feel? And
This
then suddenly
burning sting.
it's a
kind.
burning, and I was there swinging my bits about, trying to. I was like, ah, and the poor bee, and I was like, why? Like, I think he was suicidal. I don't know. He owed some bee money.
Yeah.
He was an extra in the bee movie.
They're gonna break my legs.
They're gonna break my little wings.
Oh no.
No, Jerry Seinfeld was like suing him or something,
Yeah.
and he was like, I can't take it anymore.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Did you do what Homer did then to escape the bees?
I wish. Like, so Homer jumps into a big muddy stream. I wish I thought of that.
Yeah.
I just got like an ice pack, and then I had one giant boob and one little boob, and I'm a monster. Yeah, to escape the bees, Homer jumps into a muddy stream where a naturalist cameraman, well, no, so a cameraman that's filming nature, more that he's not in the nude himself. So the cameraman is filming footage of a deer, which is very nice. And Homer is then mistaken for Bigfoot because the nature photographer takes a picture of him covered in mud. And Homer's like screaming incoherently due to like the honey is still in his mouth. I suppose he's maybe swelled up a bit. And it's just, it's a bit contrived because this guy would have literally have seen Homer jump in and scare the deer. And he's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like I would also be scared of this strange man yelling and jumping around in the thing. I would, be scared of that. I wouldn't think it's like Bigfoot. I would just think it's a very deranged, possible serial killer. Get out of there, buddy. So the video footage of the mud-covered Homer causes a media frenzy. Sounds a bit erotic, actually.
They think it's Bigfoot, don't they?
Yeah, I was like
That does sound, yeah.
mud covered Homer.
They put him on the front piece of page 4. Okay.
He's a page 4 guy, and Play Girl magazine, and it's like Homer's on it.
With mud.
Mud. So then it's just before, right? So then this stuff is happening. The video footage of Homer is a media frenzy, and then it just cuts to like a weird scene where before the ad break that just shows Bart and Homer sitting and looking sad, and it's like kind of like they didn't know how to end it. Really, it's like we just have to cut back straight to them to show no, Homer's still muddy.
Yeah.
So then after the ad break kind of gap there, the forest is like inundated with Bigfoot enthusiasts after a tabloid offers a cash reward for
They've got
capturing the creature
A
alive.
proper like setup where there's loads of them gathering to look for
Yeah,
him.
that's a big thing though. Like people go out and they go hunt Bigfoot.
They stay in little
Squatch.
shacks and stuff.
We got him. We saw him. Ah, he bit me. I think there's all these like conspiracy theories. People have been killed by
Leave
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot alone.
Yeah, right. Did you know, everybody, it is illegal to kill Sasquatch, so also known as like a Yeti or Bigfoot or a giant hairy ape. And so it is illegal to kill them in Washington State in America. So apparently, like on April 1st, which would sound like an April Fool's joke, but I think this is legit. In 1969, the Board of Commissioners of Skamania County, Washington State, adopted like a law for the protection of Sasquatch / Bigfoot creatures.
I like that.
I like that. And, you know, meanwhile, in feckin' Texas, it's always Texas, it's legal to hunt and kill Bigfoot in Texas. Typical Texas.
Typical Texans.
Ain't gonna protect no human creature, whether it's human, Bigfoot, no. So meanwhile, there's actually a man in Florida who has championed a law to protect the skunk ape, which is like a Florida equivalent. So he's campaigned for that and failed twice. So this guy is called like Dave Shealy.
So the skunk ape is a Bigfoot
He's
for
like,
Florida, is he?
yeah, he's
Florida
like
man, Bigfoot.
Florida man. Every Florida man could be a
Skunk ape.
skunk ape, to be honest. But Dave Shealy, he says he's encountered Florida's version of Bigfoot. So Bigfoot, this skunk ape guy is like Bigfoot, except he seems to like leave a trail of stink.
Big stink.
Big stink. Again, like a lot of Florida men probably like a lot of men in general, to be honest. A trail of stink similar to rotten eggs. Yeah. Basically, he's a fart man. A hairy fart man, which is...
I like the way he tried to protect it, though.
That just sounds like a lot of Irishmen, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
as
it sounds
well.
like me.
Sounds like you. Yeah. Just we have to record separately.
After a couple of Guinnesses.
Guinness farts. Yeah. So poor Dave, he's tried a couple of times to get the law passed to protect the creature, and I like this. And then, according to Dave, so quote, everyone thought the law was a joke and they shot it down. Like, so he told a reporter of Grist magazine or paper, but he's like going, quote, what harm would it have done to pass a law like that? Is the skunk ape in harm's way? Yes, no doubt about it. End quote.
This sounds like a great guy.
I like this guy. I wish this was more like for other animals. I would like this for, endangered animals rather than like maybe cryptids, isn't it?
Cryptids, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so poor Homer, like, so this skunk ape anyway, who's known for its foul odor, is like, Homer's being called very smelly in this episode as well, so that's why
There's
they're
kind
like,
of a crossover.
that's why they're saying, oh yeah, he's this is the main reason why Homer's probably mistaken for Bigfoot or skunk ape or whatever. So after Marge and Lisa are rescued by park rangers, Marge tells the media the monster in question is her husband, leading to a tabloid frenzy, like with headlines such as "I married Bigfoot," and yeah, it's just sort of like Marge is kind of ooh, it's a bit kinky of kind of.
And it's the reporters start to lean into that and they're asking her about it, like, Is he brutish?
brutish, and Marge is like, oh, and then she's like, oh, would this be on TV? Marge is a
Kinky.
kinky gal, but Homer and Bart accidentally come then across the bear cave with Maggie inside, and just before the bears are about to maul Homer and Bart to death, Maggie communicates to the bears that everything's okay, and she wards off the attack then. So Homer takes Maggie back, and they wander back out into the woods, and Homer is then spotted in the forest by hunters looking for Bigfoot, and is shot with a tranquilizer gun. And I love this. It's like the park ranger shoots Homer, and it's like Homer's just there to Bart, avenge me, son, avenge my death. And
Yeah,
he
it's
just
a
starts
great-
snoring.
It's a creep.
Oh, I just love the quotes in this one. And so then Homer is then taken to a lab for tests. So after being tested and studied, Homer is released to go back home. And Dr. Marvin Monroe makes a comeback, and he announces at a press conference that the evidence is inconclusive as to whether or not Homer is Bigfoot. And it kind of reminds me of the Angel episode, you know, with Lisa and Marge, where where they find the angel and they're doing tests, and then it's like it's kind of inconclusive.
Yes, yeah.
And then it turns out the guy never even did the test. So scientists agree that Homer is either a below average human being or a brilliant beast. So Homer and Marge are watching the news conference just before going to bed, and you're kind of like, why was he released? Like, would they not still be
Yeah,
testing
it kind
him?
of skips over that bit. It's just like, oh yeah, he was gone then.
Yeah, it's like, we did the test. Like, would he
You
not?
don't even get to see the reaction when they like wash him or something and see it's just decay.
Yeah, it's just like, it's clearly just maybe a smelly man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a bit of a strange kind of ending of like, would they not just be like, oh, false alarm, everyone's like, wow. But they could just be kind of like, God, he's actually a beast. You know, he's just below average, and they'd be like, and every like I think in a more say later episode, the crowds just be like,
There'd
and
be
then
more-
everyone just disperse
Yeah,
kind of
there'd be
thing.
more of a joke of that, kind of.
Yeah. So then Marge is consoling a very embarrassed Homer, who's worrying about all the teasing he's going to receive at work. Yeah, you wouldn't live it down, to be honest. But Marge consoles him by calling him, she's like, quote, my brilliant beast. And she's like, oh, Homer. And kinky Marge turns off the lights then
For some brutish behavior.
for some brutish behavior. So yeah, I just think it's just a funny enough thing of like the Bigfoot kind of story in this. I think it is really a good kind of premise. I just wish kind of the Bigfoot was the main story then. Like I kind of would have preferred maybe if Bart and Homer were out looking for Bigfoot.
Or then you could tie it in.
Yeah. I think
Kind of, yeah, it's a great kind of story with Gwyneth Morris and the ranking, obviously, in that. But like, it does kind of just go from like thread to thread to thread, kind of.
yeah, it's just sort of is a afterthought really of kind of like, well, we need to with the RV and then them surviving in the wild, they're kind of immediately in survival mode from that. I think they just would have been better starting initially off in the woods anyway, rather than the RV story and going on a holiday and then the ending. It's just all, it's a really good kind of idea, and I think it still does it pretty well. I just would have liked more kind of exploration
It's
into
a
it.
cute ending, though.
Yeah, and just it's a shame that the ending is really quick. Then we're just like, we did Tess, and nah, it's not Bigfoot. But I have some cool Bigfoot trivia.
Hit us with it.
His. So did you know there was a music festival called Sasquatch Music Festival? So this was like a festival that was held in Washington, maybe because they protect Sasquatch. You know, that they...
Sort of like they're hoping that he'll come to the festival or something.
Yeah, it's like our
You're
special
safe here.
guest.
You're safe here, buddy. if
All
you
these
wanna-"
like hippie Sasquatch Bigfoots are
He
kind
comes
of...
up to the stage and he's like, "Wah,
And he's got like...
we love you, Bigfoot.
he has like a little DJ set.
You showed me the posters for this Duffy Beer, and they're really
Oh,
cool.
I really recommend looking up the posters. So they've actually stopped. I don't think they have them anymore since COVID, which is really a shame because they like in one particular year, 2018, they had like all my favorite acts. There was like Big Teeth, Alex G, Thundercat, David Byrne,
Holy moly.
Grizzly Bear.
Holy moly.
And not Grizzly Bears, like actual the band Grizzly Bear. Phoebe Bridgers was added too. Like, it's such a
We should've
good
went to that,
lineup.
Duffy.
I want to go back in time. And so I think that's cool. But the posters are really, really.
Oh, they're so
It's
cool.
just really like a cool indie aesthetic with cool indie like music acts and that. Oh geez, if I saw the Galaxy and Big Teeth and Thundercat in the one weekend, that'd be me. I'm done.
I'm done with
Stick a fork in me, lads. I'm done. But yeah, so then not so fun fact. There's a Bigfoot killer. Is the name given to an unidentified American serial killer who R-worded and murdered several girls
my
and
God.
women in Detroit between February and October 1975. I don't think there's anything like any reason why he's called the Bigfoot killer. Like I don't think there was like a
He was
police sketch and it showed a very like Bigfoot.
Sasquatch looking man.
Yeah, I think it's just that it was like in a kind of area that, yeah, that's kind like the biggest thing to fear in a forest. It's the whole bear and man argument.
Which is more
Would you
dangerous?
choose
Which
the
would you rather?
bear or the man? And in this case, I would choose. Would you choose the Bigfoot or man? And I would choose Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot would be chill.
You just have to kind of throw him a bit of honey or a bit of kind
Yeah.
of fruit or something that he'd be happy.
He'd be like, hoo, hoo, hoo. And there's probably a lot more Bigfoot related trivia. The last thing I'll just leave on is Dan Aykroyd, so you know the guy from Ghostbusters and SNL, Megan Fox, and President Theodore Roosevelt have all expressed their belief in Bigfoot. Dan Aykroyd definitely would believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd likes.
He likes all his aliens and
alien Bigfoot.
alien Bigfoot. Yeah.
If I could choose any conspiracy to believe, or if I could choose one of them to be real, I'd choose Bigfoot.
Yeah. Like, what's the harm? It's like, of all these other things of like Illuminati stuff or 9/11 conspiracies, Bigfoot's a harmless one.
He just wants to be in the woods.
Yeah.
He just wants to be by himself.
Yeah. I'm all for it. And I'm all for protecting. I like these laws protecting
I like that
Bigfoot.
Florida guy, Dave.
Yeah. Dave is our hero of the week. So I think that's, that's Bigfoot. If, yeah, maybe there could be an episode where Lisa's campaigning for Bigfoot kind of rights.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be
That would be a really cool episode.
that could actually tie in really well if like Homer and Bart are going out to hunt for Bigfoot and then Marge is kind of like, she's sort of neutral on it and Lisa's campaigning for, and they're all kind of like, questioning whether he's real, and it's like kind of it's sort of more rhetorical thing of protecting. Yeah.
So it's a Bigfoot episode, but does it get a big ranking?
Does it get a big ranking?
Let's find that out.
Does it get 5 feet out of 5?
5 feet. 5. Let's jump into that then.
Worst episode ever.
All right then, Duffy Beer. So it's time to see, as he said in the last part, is this Bigfoot get a big rank?
Big. Big rank. Big feet.
So for those who are just listening for the first time, we've got a ranking system that we use to categorize the episodes into. So we rank each category out of 3. So out of 3 donuts or something. So the first category...
3 Bigfoots.
Out of 3 Bigfoots, yes.
Or big feet.
Big feet. So the first category is emotion,
Mhm.
because obviously Simpsons episodes get quite emotional and tug on the old heartstrings. The second category is laughs, quite self-explanatory. Obviously, everybody thinks The Simpsons is a comedy show, so we have to have that as one of the important ranks.
Well, maybe not for newer seasons where it's like, oh.
The third category is lines. So how quotable is it? How memorable is it? And then the fourth category is story. So how does the story flow? Is it compelling? Is it good? We think that these cover what you're looking for in The Simpsons pretty much. So it's a good way to rank each episode.
I remember initially like kind of like animation, but that's kind of unfair because The Simpsons has never been like the best for animation, I think.
For season 1, I think it would probably work since there's so many different
There's so many
animations.
weird kind of like, they're like just random
Frying
misshapen
different things and stuff and
yeah.
colours and
And you see, I always noticed that when I was a kid watching Simpsons, even like kind of more classic Simpsons, and there'd be slight animation errors, but it wouldn't take anything away from it. But I just think for
Matt Groening watching it though is
Matt Groening's like there, and he's got his own ranking system, and it's just like
it's always 0.
0, and someone gets fired. But yeah, the animation, because obviously there's lovely like scenic Simpsons and everything, but I think it'd be unfair to. It's not like a Studio Ghibli. It's animated movie people spend years on. It's kind of like a TV show, so
We leave that category
we'll just
out.
leave it. We'll leave it as it is.
So, what are we giving the Call of the Simpsons then for emotion, Duffy Beer?
So emotion, it's overall a very funny episode. I actually felt very sorry for Homer in this episode, and I think I'll give it a 2 because I honestly felt very sorry for him when he was getting ripped off.
Oh, he gets taken to the cleaners.
Yeah, and even he's just like a child at the start of the episode where he's jealous of Flanders, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll get this and that," and then next thing, he's like, "Is that a good score? Is that a good alarm?" And yeah, I just feel sorry for him at the beginning, and even the ending is kind of cute with Marge defending Homer of kind of like she's like, "Oh, my brilliant beast." And there's something I'm a sucker for Marge and Homer being like a nice little couple.
Reassuring each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
There's a lot of episodes we'll see where Homer's like a horrible husband to Marge. And I'm just kind of like, and it's these little moments that I actually do I really like.
This one of the cute bears as well.
And the bears are cute.
Bears are very cute.
Yeah. Just extra marks for bears.
So a 2 for emotion?
I think a 2. I think it just makes it slightly like a little sentimental.
Sweet little episode, isn't
yeah.
it? And what are we giving it for laughs then, Duffy Bear?
Oh, the laughs, I'm giving it a 3 because
There's too many good gags.
there's really funny moments in it where, like say the bit with the rabbit being like fecked over kind of with the catapult.
Catapulted away. And then the animals biting him and
it's like, and then even there's like the bits where he's like, "Avenge me, son, avenge me," and even there's a funny bit of like when all the news media is around at the park at the forest, and there's like a newsman reporting, and then there's just a random like assistant, and it's like, "Get those bears out of the shot," and then he's like, "Shoo, bears, shoo," and he's just this really camp kind of assistant, "Shoo, bears," and it's just there's just little funny chuckles throughout the episode. I found just really funny. Even like it's like, "I've murdered us all," like.
It's a great one, isn't it?
You can tell like it's your man Schwartzwelder kind of now writing these episodes and getting more feel for his humor.
But yeah, because this does feel like a later one in terms of humor.
Yeah, really. So I'm giving it a 3. What about you?
So I give it a 3 for laughs too.
Yeah.
So for lines, then what are we giving it, Duffy Beer?
Lines. So there is very funny lines in the episode of kind of like, again, "Avenge me, son," and "Run, you fool." Like lot of very funny Homer lines. Not anything I would be like quoting like, "Oh gosh, this is like such a iconic Simpson quote that everyone's quoting in this," but it's kind of like a bit more niche maybe for it. I give it a 2 then because there's definitely very funny lines.
They're like great quotes, but not like masterful quotes.
Yeah, like very iconic.
On the scale of The Simpsons, like, yeah.
Yeah, just.
But no, it is good, yeah. Like you said, that Avenge Me one is great.
Yeah, avenge
Me, son, avenge my dad.
And then
So 2 for lines, and then for story, what are we going to give it, Duffy Beer?
story, I give it a 2 again. I think it's a really funny episode. It just jumps a bit from the RV bit to the woods, then to Bigfoot. I kind of. It feels kind of like sort of, in the newer episodes where the structure of the episode kind of shifts a lot.
Oh, and the new Simpsons kind of like, where it's like...
The main thing kind of could have been even, hypothetically, Homer wants to get an RV. Even it jumps to the RV bit where he just sees Ned with an RV. He's like, "I'm getting an RV." And, it kind of would be better, I think, just if it focused either. Like the RV bit could be a random bit where he's trying to drive this RV throughout the episode, and he...
Yeah, actually, because it is kind of like it starts off with the theme of the episode being the RV, but then the
Yeah.
RV doesn't come back into it after it
Or maybe
crashes.
he's trying to go back to your man, Bob, constantly throughout the episode, and Bob's like making up different excuses of like, oh no, that's a pretty and
Or if it had have even ended with him, I think if they had have just tied it back into the RV, because that was the crux of it, and then if it had have ended with him going in as Bigfoot to Bob or something, and Bob
yeah,
running away, and then
it's kind of like or it's like the Gran Canario. I know the one where Homer buys that car and then Marge is driving it then the whole episode,
yeah,
you know, and it just the RV bit kind of just disappears off, and Bob's never seen again then.
yeah,
And I don't know, just to utilize him a bit more because I don't find Bob that funny in the episode. So maybe just if he was sort of just expanding on a wee bit more. Um, yeah, but like the story, I think everything wraps up fine. I would have, again, as I said, I just think there could have been a better maybe storyline. Maybe again, like if Homer and Bart were trying to find Bigfoot at the start of the episode, tied in maybe with the lease idea kind of thing I had. That's just me though. Like, you know, I just think there's just maybe a bit more of a Bigfoot.
a bit more potential with the Bigfoot stuff.
Yeah. But overall, I just think it's absolutely fine. So I'm giving it 2, yeah.
Well then, Duffy Beer. Before we sum it up, then we also have a tier list that we do, which determines then we put the total ranking into different tiers.
Yeah.
So in our tier list, then we've got the bottom tier is the dud.
Ooh.
Up from that is craptacular. Up from that is oakley dokley. Up from that is chock full of heady goodness, and then the top tier is groin grabbingly transcendent.
Growing graphically transcendent.
So if my calculations are correct, then this one is getting 2, 4, 6. So this is a 9 out of 12.
Yeah, 9 out of 12. So
Puts
that
us into
would chock full of heady goodness.
Chock full of heady goodness with Bart the Genius and Simpsons roasting and
Yeah.
open fire.
It's a good little place. That's pretty good.
That's a very strong one.
Yeah. Our only one so far in the growing graphically transcendent is Moaning Lisa. So
That was the perfect kind of episode for us so far, wasn't it?
yeah, that's been a really good one. So that is our tier list then. So you rank pretty well, Call of The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah, definitely recommend it.
So before we head off then,
Mm-hmm.
that we usually do is we usually pick a song that we think goes well with it. I think you put it really well, Duffy Beer, where you were like, do you know, if it could be a FMV or something, or a clip of
Yeah,
a,
like
slight, a
a music,
montage.
yeah, like a little music video you would do for the episode.
Have you got a song for Duffy Beer
I
today?
do indeed. I do indeed. So this episode, as we've seen, you know, I was going to be kind of a bit predictable and maybe like, oh, they're going into the wild. Is there any like camping songs or something like that? And I was like, no. So there's a song I actually came across only very recently, kind of like within maybe 2 months ago even. And it's a song and it's actually called Bigfoot. And it's by an artist called DNHM. I don't know, I assume that's pronounced that way, just kind of with letters. But yeah, DNHM, and it's called Bigfoot. And it actually it's a really cool grungy kind of song.
It's so good, so it is.
Yeah, and it actually kind of reminds me of Foster the People. So just that it has like a really cool bit of do 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 do. Really a really well written song as well. It's and so the whole thing of like Bigfoot's a coming, Bigfoot's a coming, and you kind of just get the general idea of like, oh, it's a grungy kind of angsty song. But it's funny because I came across a music video, and the music video then is kind of to do with global warming and just how we're destroying the planet. And Bigfoot's kind of like an overall bigger metaphor for kind of global warming.
Global warming coming for us.
And then even then, when I was just thinking of like even that random bit of Sasquatches needs to be protected, you know,
Yeah.
just like we're just protect, you know, the environment and wildlife kind of thing. And I just thought that tied in. But I can also see like it's like the first line's kind of like you saw how you fucked it all up basically. And it's like I could just imagine Homer and he's there after spent wasting money on an RV that means nothing, and then he's covered in mud later on in the episode, and everyone's running and there's hysteria, and it's like Bigfoot's coming for you.
It suits the episode, not just because it's called Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's just actually, but it's just like the actual the
lyrics and the
vibe of
sound
the
of it
song
and that,
goes
yeah.
really well. I think. Wish I could just imagine Homer and is like just being attacked by all the wildlife, like little animals attacking him, and it's like this is what you get that you messed with nature.
So DNHM Bigfoot, check it out because it is a great song.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like quite lesser known at the minute, but hopefully it
Yeah.
explodes.
It doesn't have a lot of views even on YouTube or anything, but it's
So good.
such a good song. Like I would just listen to this randomly, and then because we were just, go to record this episode, I was like, you know what, this is what I'm choosing, because I was kind of thinking the songs, like Fleet Foxes, maybe just because they're in the wild, that kind of feel,
Foresty,
foresty
funky.
stuff. And I was like, but nothing's really spelling out. And then this clicked with me totally when I heard the song, and just again Homer just being attacked. And it's like Bigfoots are coming for you. I'll definitely recommend. But that is that.
Yeah, so a very good episode.
Yeah, really. So check out Call of The Simpsons. It's not like the best Simpson episode, but it's kind of first episode. It's a quaint enough kind of episodic episode. It's not going to tie in with anything ever, but it's just a nice little feel.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, I would call this kind of getting into season 2 nearly.
Yes, definitely.
Rather than season 1. I suppose that's how we kind of look at season 1 episodes of like, it's a kind of pre-Simpson humor or the Simpsons we actually know. And yeah, I feel this really fits into season 2 more so. And then check that out. Check the Bigfoot song out. Check out
the rest of the Cromulent
Craic Show. Check out for look after any big feet in your neighborhood.
And leave out a bit of food for them or something.
Yeah.
Look after them.
Just hopefully they're vegetarian.
Dave the skunk ape guy, listen to his advice.
Yeah. Protect the big feet and the smelly. Even if they're smelly creatures need love and care too. And on that note,
we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Hi
diddly ho.
It's
It's time to go. Do 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 do. Shh.